Good morning, fish peoples. Let me show you something interesting here. I've told you before that I have both the freshwater and saltwater aquariums. And if you have anything in an aquarium, it's going to eventually get covered in muck. There's just no way around it. You got light, you got nutrient-rich water, you got everything for muck to grow. And muck can be dead bacteria, algae, pooties, everything grows. Even your biological, the filtration grows. So in the freshwater, I would take, this is a simulation, just to show you what I'm talking about. So this is a bunch of mixed biological media. I see 2 or 3 different kinds in there. So in the freshwater, I would just take this, and I have well water. So my well water has no chlorine in it. It has everything else that you'd find around a farm, but it has no chlorine. I would set the temperature of the water using my little thermopan, and I would just simply spray the muck off. And it doesn't hurt it at all. I've never had an ammonia spike from doing that. It doesn't hurt it. Well, the other day, I had a bag of biomedia out of a saltwater tank, and I brought it to the sink, and I got ready to spray it, and I said, wait a minute. Will fresh water kill saltwater bacteria? I didn't know the answer to that. I tried looking it up, and as usual on the internet, you can find 5 answers to the same the question, and they're all in contrast. So I said, hell, I'm going to prove it to myself. So here's what I've done. Took a little wiener, the tank I got a heater in it, got it at 78 degrees, got a little tiny internal filter in here. And what I'm going to do is add some ammonium chloride. I've had this stuff for decades, and I don't have any way to measure out the milligrams, because it would take about, the calculations show about like 50 milligrams to bring this 4 gallons up to 1 part per million. I don't have any way to weigh that out. So I'm just going to put a teaspoon of this in here. I'm sorry, a quarter of a teaspoon, which is probably going to be way too much. So I'm just going to dump this in here. I'm going to let it dissolve, and I'm going to measure it with my test kit. Then once I get the ammonia level in here to where I can read it, 1 or 2 parts per million is fine. I'm going to take a bio ball, one of the marine pure bio balls, out of an existing established tank and put it in this little internal filter and see what happens. If it doesn't kill the bacteria, then they will convert the ammonia, and I'll know that it's not a problem. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, as you can see, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ammonium chloride in 4 gallons of water was a really bad guess. This is way too strong. So I'm going to dilute this water out, take some out, put some back in. This is all fresh water, so it's easy. And I'll get it where I want it. I'll show you. Okay, after much dilution, I finally got something I can work with. That's about 2 ppm is close enough. So now I'm going to go and get a bio ball out of an established tank. Okay, here's what we're looking at. Right where the water spills over down onto the sponge, the bubble trap, there's a bunch of those marine pure bio balls. They've been laying there. They've been there for years. So they got bacteria in them. I'm going to get one of those. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take this little pump, this little internal filter, which it comes apart, it's modular. You can see the space there. And I'm going to put the bio ball in there. Bada bing. Put it back together and let her rip. Maybe. Yes, I did. Okay, so to recap, this is fresh water at 78 degrees with approximately 2 parts per million of ammonium, NH4, in here. And I just took a bio ball from a saltwater aquarium, and we're going to see if it lives or dies. If it lives, it'll convert all that ammonia into nitrites and nitrates. And if it dies, it'll do nothing. So we'll come back, I'd say 3 or 4 hours later, and we'll check it. Later. Okay, it's early the next morning. I didn't get around to it yesterday. Here's me and my big belly performing the ammonia test. And if it's yellow, it means they survived and converted. If it greens, it means they're dead. 5 minutes later, they're dead. So there's the answer. Fresh water will kill the beneficial bacteria of salt water. I'll be damned. All right, see you later.